Teenage angst, teenage rebellion. What do you do? And will Miss Van Woke's niece ever make it down the aisle? Every time that chick gets a fiance, I'm thinking, nah, not gonna work. But anyways, we are talking. Welcome to the Daily Rhys book series. I'm Kristina, Kristina, where I read books and talk books. I have no special effects, no special drop-ins. It's just me reading books, talking books with my bud here. And the enemy is like, give me a smoke. Give me a smoky. Give me a smoky. Yeah. Smokey doesn't like the camera. You want the brush? You gotta come over here. Come on. Come on. No. She's gonna sit just out of camera range. She's a panic. Okay. So, Wild Irish Rose, Molly Murphy Mystery Book 18 with Rhys and her daughter Clare, and I'm telling you, this thing is hot. This thing is hot. Oh my god. You are not gonna see some of this stuff coming. Poor Molly. Oh my god, the teenage angst. We'll get to it. So poor Birdie. She's enjoying school. She's really smart. She's having a really good time learning. But she's Irish, and most of the people in her school are Italian, and they don't like her because she's into her books, and she's not into socialization and partying yet. We have to hit those teenage years yet. You give her a couple more years. She's already showing her teenageness in this. They throw snowballs at her, really pummeled her on the way home from school. So Molly withdraws her from school, and Sid and Gus, who are Molly's friends, who live across the street, who Daniel doesn't particularly like, start to educate her in history and Latin and stuff like that to prepare Birdie for someday going to Vassar, a women's college. So Sid and Gus and their society ladies are gathering up coats, gently used coats. Hey, we do that nowadays. For the poor who are coming in off Ellis Island. And so Molly goes with them to deliver the clothing so that at least when they enter New York, they have a good coat on because they are coming in the middle of the winter. So then they're on Ellis Island and they're giving out, or on the ship actually, and they're giving out all the coats. And Birdie is piled high with the coats and she can't see in front of her. And so she sees a lady with red hair and thinks it's Molly, and she follows the lady with red hair, but it's not Molly. And there's Molly panics and strickens, and there's a panic attack there. But that's not the first time Birdie's gonna go missing in this book. Daniel comes home from work very late that night with news that he spent the day at Ellis Island investigating a murder. Ah! So they were both at the same place at the same time and never saw each other. Okay. Then the prime suspect in the murders is the lady that Birdie was following with the red hair, Rose McSweeney. And she's supposedly from a place close to near Birdie's home. And so Birdie befriends her and wants to defend her and works really, really hard to prove her innocence. And then this other guy says, "Oh, I saw her touching the doorknob," and tries to finger Rose as the murderer. And so then, despite Daniel's warnings, Molly starts to investigate the murder. She goes off to find Rose, and when she gets near the boarding house or the, what do they call it nowadays? When they put you in secret protection, whatever. I forget the house, that whatever. Somebody think me the word. I can't think of it right now. So instead of putting her in a holding cell, something like that, they've got her in this little room. So when Molly wants to go and talk to her, the constable who's standing guard thinks, because of the red hair, that she's Rose. So the constable grabs her, locks her in the room with Rose. So then when Daniel finds out, he gets upset. And Molly gets news that her very first employer, Miss Wockham, now remember, when she came to New York, Miss Wockham is Daniel's godmother, and she needed a companion. She's always needed a companion. And Molly was her first. Molly worked for her for a few months before deciding to go on to be a private detective. So Miss Wockham has broken her leg, and Molly goes to visit her, and her regular maid had a mother is ill, so she's got a new temporary maid, and the new temporary maid has got a New York, Brooklyn attitude you would not believe. Not grateful to being in the job she is. She's giving lip every which way. So Molly decides. Oh wait, let me go back up here before we. So when they go to the Miss Wokam's, we learn that there's going to be a party, and so because, like I said, that new maid Jewel is a disgrace or a train wreck coming with Brooklyn attitude all over it, Molly and Bertie volunteer to come to the party and help serve and host and that kind of stuff. Then Molly enlists Sid and Gus to go to Ellis Island again with more clothing. And while they're there, Bertie finds a muff. They never had a muff. You know, the thing with it's a circle and you stick your hands in it, keep your hands warm. It's really fancy sometimes. Molly finds a muff in the bunch of clothing, and in the clothing is the knife, their murder weapon. So, Daniel again is not happy that Molly is sticking her nose in police business again. But hey, without Molly's help, he wouldn't have the murder weapon. So Molly decides, because of all the stuff at Miss Wocham's, that Rose is going to be the new maid or companion. And Miss Wockham loves Rose. She just thinks she's great. She's fantastic. And you are not going to see this coming. You are so not going to see the end of this book coming. You may suspect stuff, but you ain't going to see this coming. So a cable from Scotland says that Henry Darby, one of the guy that was killed, was looking for a jewel thief. Someone had stolen the jewels at a party. And then we get, teenage angst. We've all been there. So Bertie is at Sid and Gus's, and Sid and Gus want to give her some clothing, and they pull out this really pretty purple party dress, and it's a little big on her, and it's a little old for her, but she loves it, absolutely loves it. Bertie comes over. Now, Mrs. Sullivan, Daniel's mom, has been living with them to help out while her maid is off at a family illness. No, because Bertie was her maid. Ivy from the last book. That's right. She ended up being the real heir, so she left. So while Mrs. Sullivan is looking for a new maid, she's staying with Daniel and Molly, and Molly would like to go to the store over to Macy's and buy Bertie a dress. But Mrs. Sullivan is downgrading Molly, that she should be a real mother, and so the dress. And Molly can't sew for nothing. So Molly decides, fine. And Mrs. Sullivan has her sewing machine sent out. So they go out and they buy all this fabric, and Molly works so hard on this dress, and then she goes over to Steve and Gus's and she sees Birdie in the purple dress and just loses it. She's worked so hard on this surprise dress that she hasn't given to Birdie yet. And she sees her in the purple dress and she just goes off. Well, then Birdie goes off too. Especially when Molly needs a dress for the thing and they give her the purple dress. But we'll get to that. So, Ryan, their friend, the playwright guy, sees Birdie in the dress and, he's giving her all these compliments. Meanwhile, she's still really mad at Molly and having big, huge teenage angst because Molly made her take it off. And then when Molly gives her the dress that she lovingly spent all that time on, she's like, oh, it's nice. Her feelings are hurt 6 ways to Sunday. And you're right. As a kid, the kids are not going to see that the mother spent hours and hours and hours and hours sewing this thing just for you to say, oh, it's nice, because she wanted the purple one. I mean, you can see that coming. So, then she goes to Miss Welcome's, and Rosa seems to be doing really well there. Then, while they were at the tea party, where what's-her-face is announcing her engagement, which we know, how many engagements has this chick had and not worked out? 2 or 3 by now? I always see this as a rare. I really do. So a bracelet goes missing, and Molly inadvertently blames Birdie. And, she should know Birdie better than that, but it's all in her head, but it gets pushed sideways. Then Daniel informs Molly that they received a telegram that there really was a Rose in Ireland, and that was a true story. So then Molly goes to tell Rose the good news and offers Rose to take Rose to the theater to see Ryan's play as a reward. And she tells Molly that, what are you doing? That she could go to Chicago now. Now that the case has been solved, she can go to Chicago. And Rose is like, I don't know if they had a rum flat or not. And she makes all these excuses for not going. And she's working out with Ms. Welcome pretty good. She might as well stay. So then Molly offers to take her to the play because Ryan had 2 extra tickets. And that was like the last straw with Birdie. Between the dress and then when Molly comes in wearing the dress and is going to the play, Birdie's feelings are hurt 6 ways to Sunday. Totally hurt. So they go to the theater, and Gus and Sid are there, and then they go to the after party. And Rose disappears for a little while, but then she finds her. But they meet the Viscount, and they meet Edward Cromer at the party. The Viscount is Cordelia's in fiance, and I told you before, every time Cordelia gets a potential husband, you can see it going around 6 ways to Sunday. I ain't gonna tell you. So then Rose goes missing at the party, but then Molly finds her. Apparently she didn't want to be seen by certain people. So then Molly decides she's going to go talk to Mr. Cromer to see what he knows about the necklace being stolen and the murder at the ship and all that kind of stuff, and finds that Mr. Cromer's throat has been slit. And the story really picks up from there. There are several people with false identities there is several people. There's not just one bad guy. There are several bad guys, and Molly has reason to panic when they finally put all the pieces together. Birdie gets kidnapped. 6 Ways to Sunday. You aren't going to see the ending of this book coming. It's massively good. It takes off. It zooms. It's on a train. It zooms. This was so good. So many twists, so many turns at the end. You didn't see it coming. It's very exciting at the end. You can't put it down. It's almost a one sitting, maybe 2 sitting read tops. It was so good. So good. And the ending was just, oh my God, I didn't see that coming. But the teenage angst from Birdie, all you moms out there, all you teens out there, you can see it. You can understand where Birdie is coming from. It is so good. It's awesome. It really is. You're not going to see it coming. So do me a favor and please hit the like and subscribe. And if you have already done that, thank you. Like I said, it's just me reading books, talking books. I have no special effects. I don't have any special graphics or anything like that. So I need all the support I can get. So Wild Irish Rose, book 18 in the Molly Murphy series. And please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Thank you.